OpenAI just dropped GPT 5.5, and the timing here, it's kind of wild because this comes just 1 week after Claude's Opus 4.7, which up until today, it was on paper the most powerful AI model that anyone in the public could actually use. So OpenAI is clearly coming for that crown. The question is, did they actually take it back? Because here's the thing, I just went through the whole announcement, and once you actually just stop reading all the marketing copy and you actually look at the numbers, there's a really specific story hiding in there where OpenAI, they won on one thing and they won it decisively. And they lost another thing, and they lost it worse than most people are going to realize. So what we're going to do is just go through every benchmark that matters, show you 5.5 and where it actually beats 4.7, where it doesn't, and then we're going to run one head-to-head test right now to see if the hype actually matches reality. So let's look at what they actually shipped. Okay, so OpenAI, they're calling this, and I quote, a new class of intelligence. So that's Greg Brockman's words. Let's just see if the numbers actually back that up. So the first thing that they're leading with, this is the Terminal Bench 2. So this is the one that actually tests whether the model can actually plan, if it can iterate or use tools in a command line. So this is just real agentic coding work. It's not like a write me a function kind of stuff. So came out with 82.7%. 5.4, this was at 75.1, so 5.4, this was the previous model. So that's a 7-point jump in about 7 weeks, which is a lot, genuinely. Now, I want to be very fair here. Their specialized coding model, which was GPT 5.3 Codex, this was already at about 77.3 on this back in February. So if you're comparing 5.5 to the specialized coding model, it's more like a 5-point bump, but it's still pretty solid, just not as dramatic as the chart actually makes it look. Now, this next one, it's where things get a little bit more interesting. So this is the OS World Verified. This is just computer use. So can the model actually drive a desktop, click around, fill out forms, whatever you normally do on the computer? 78.7%. Now Opus 4.7, which dropped literally last week, it sits at about 78. So OpenAI, it just retook computer use, and that's by about 0.7 points. So it's basically a tie, but for the first time since 5.4 actually came out, OpenAI, it's just back in front on all the agent work. So that's actually where the real fight is right now. Now the Tau 2 Bench Telecom, this is at 98%. So this one's basically customer service with tool calling. So it's the models just handling a support flow, calling APIs, doing the whole thing just end to end. So 98, it's pretty saturated. So if you're building any voice agents or support bots, like this is the number that really should be mattering to you. Matters for me more so. And a small detail that I will give them credit for is they ran this without any prompt adjustments. So a lot of labs, they usually tune any prompts to actually like just juice these scores up a little bit. It looks like OpenAI did not do that here, so seemingly pretty honest. All right, now here's what they are not putting front and center. That is the SWE Bench Pro. So this is the one that actually tests real coding work. So the multi-language, the multi-file, the genuinely hard stuff. So 5.5, it scores 58.6, and Opus's 4.7, that was 64.3. So Opus, it's still ahead by almost 6 full points on the coding benchmark that best reflects real engineering work. So that's not too close. And on humanities last exam, so the hardest benchmark that we actually have right now, GPT's 5.5 Pro, it scores 43.1, Opus 4.7, it's at 46.9. So on raw reasoning, Opus is ahead as well. And the story isn't necessarily like GPT 5.5 is overall smarter. It's more so that the story is like GPT 5.5, it's just more agentic. And OpenAI, they won the agent layer, and Anthropic, they still own, I would say, the raw IQ. All right, so let's get a little bit weird. If you remember Mythos Preview, you know, Anthropic's Galaxy brain model from about, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, you know, the one that they actually said was just too dangerous to release or ship to everybody. On humanities last exam, Mythos, it scored 56.8. 5.5 Pro, it's at 43. And Opus 4.7, it is at 47. Mythos, 57. So Anthropic has a model that's a full tier above both of these, and it's sitting in a vault because they say it's too dangerous to release. Now that could just be marketing hype, and it's a complete lie, and some of it's fabricated. Who knows? We really can't tell. But anyways, whatever you're thinking about that, the public models you can actually use right now, GPT 5.5, Opus 4.7, like they're just fighting for second place. Mythos, it's first, and we aren't going to touch that at least for some time. That's the real framing here. Again, they could just be completely lying about some of these numbers to, you know, inflate their valuation, anything like that. Oh, and another thing, the API price doubled. So 5.4 was $250 in, 15 out per million tokens. 5.5, it's 5 in, 30 out, and Pro is 30 in, 180 out. So it's 6 times the entry price. That's pretty steep. Now, OpenAI's defense is that the model is just more token efficient, so you'll spend about the same in reality, and I'll just believe when I actually measure it, so we'll see. Okay, so benchmarks are benchmarks. Let's actually see if this works. Now, OpenAI, they put their best foot forward with this, I will say, in this announcement. They have this demo that they're really proud of, where a math professor at Adam Mickiewicz University, Bartosz Nisrekri, I'm definitely butchering that, it used GPT-5.5 in Codex to just build a working algebraic geometry application from a single prompt. So in about 11 minutes, it was able to do this. And Greg Brockman, it called it out specifically in the press briefing, where it's the hero demo of the entire launch. So let's run their exact prompts that they actually use, the same words, but let's just do it head to head. So I'll be using GPT's 5.5 on one side, Opus 4.7 on the other, because if this is really a new class of intelligence, it should smoke Opus here. So, I mean, this is OpenAI's pitch on OpenAI's terms on a benchmark OpenAI pick. So on the left-hand side, I'm going to type out make an app which draws 2 quadratic surfaces and colors in red, the intersection curve. And on the right, we have GPT. I'm gonna put this on extra high, very similar to Opus's adaptive thinking. And we'll go ahead and run this off in both instances. So I'm just using Codex on this and the normal chat or Claude browser on the left-hand side. All right, we just got our output back. We can see the windows on the right-hand side of our actual outputs. And I'm just showing in very small windows. But the first thing, GPT worked on this for about 11 minutes, 13 seconds. Opus, it came back in a fraction of that. So it was about 9 or 10 minutes. 5.5, it is doing a lot more thinking. And whether that thinking pays off is what we're about to actually find out right now. So Claude's approach, it effectively just built the whole thing as a single HTML artifact. So you can see it on the right-hand side right here. So we have surface A, surface B, and we have the intersection down below. So what happened here is it's loading into the browser. There's no setup. It's just gonna start working. And we have our HTML down at the bottom. So there's about 7 different quadratic surfaces that you can mix and match. So there's the sphere, and then there is the ellipsoid, and then the cylinder, the cone, 2 kinds of paraboloid and hyperboloid. Now, every surface, it has live sliders, so you can actually, deform it in real time. So I can tweak this as much as I want. You can see here, and like so. So what we could do is we could just watch like the intersection curve just redraw instantly. So there's about 6 presets actually wired up, where the classic Viviani curve and the sphere meets the saddle, all of them. So it just drops you into an ellipsoid cutting through a saddle by default effectively. Now, here's GPT 5.5. It's just a different approach entirely. So it looks different too. So let's actually minimize this now that we are done with Claude. And let's break this down a little bit. So now this is set up as a full Vite project where there's npm install, 3.js as a dependency, and then just some separate files for the scene, the styling, and the HTML as well on top of that. And then it ran a production build. So it just ran a production build. And then from there, it spun up a local development server, and then it wrote a headless Chrome test script to just screenshot the canvas at the desktop in some mobile sizes and just count red pixels to actually verify the intersection was actually rendering. Now, this is a lot, and I do want to be as fair as possible here. It's genuinely impressive engineering. It tested its own work. It caught a 3.js deprecation warning, and it fixed it itself. It removed a 404 for a missing favicon, and that's a real production discipline. So if you're shipping this into a code base, like that's the workflow that you would expect. That's what you would want. But look what it actually built. So there's about 2 different surfaces. So within this, there is the presets, there is the opacity slider as well, and a toggle for the mesh line, a slow orbit button, a reset view, and that's the UI. Now Claude on the left side, it does have about 7 different surfaces, and every parameter, it exposed as a live slider, and their intersection just updates as you drag it. So you can genuinely explore the math where GPT's version, you pick from a preset line and just rotate it. So here's the thing, like the prompt just said an app which draws 2 quadratic surfaces. Now both models did that. So technically they both passed and they did their job, but the spirit of the prompt, like this is OpenAI's hero demo. It's their math professor example, the one that Brockman actually called out. And the spirit is just build something that a mathematician would actually want to use. And on that axis specifically, like Claude built more of an application and GPT built more of a project. And I also keep coming back to this like 11 minutes where GPT thought for. 11 minutes straight, it installed NPM packages, it just ran a build and wrote a visual regression test. And it came out with just fewer surfaces and fewer knobs than Claude shipped in a single file in under a minute. And that's the comparison that truly matters. It's not like which code is more professional. It's the question was which one actually built the better app from the prompt. So now to actually steelman GPT, because I do want to be as fair as possible, like the Vite setup, it's very impressive and genuinely the better starting point if you were going to keep building on this in particular, where like the real model structure, the real build pipeline and the tests, like they're already running. So if my goal was to scaffold me a project and I'm going to extend for like the next few months or something, like 5.5, it'll probably be like the right answer. But the problem is that it just wasn't the prompt that we inputted. And the self-testing thing, like that is very real. So like that's the agentic behavior that OpenAI is actually selling. And the model, it noticed that its own deprecation warning. So it checked its own output with a headless browser. And Claude didn't do any of that. It just built the whole thing and it just handed it over to me. So if you care about a model that just like operates more like a junior engineer who's, you know, QAing their own work, 5.5 is doing something that Claude is not. So anyways, my honest read about this, because that's probably all you care about on the prompt is written, Claude, it built the more useful application as we have seen here. There's more surfaces, more interactivity, there's zero setup. And on the prompt, as OpenAI wishes it were written here, you know, like scaffold me a production grade project with tests and a build pipeline, like GPT 5.5, it did more impressive work. Now both, they're definitely real wins for different things, but this was OpenAI's hero demo once again. It's their pitch, it's their terms. And the app a non-engineer would actually reach for is going to be Claude's. So that's the signal. And if you actually remember back from earlier, the SWE Bench Pro number, Opus, it's 6 points ahead on real coding work. So this is what the gap actually looks like when you run it yourself. For 5.5, it built something more elaborate around the problem, and Claude, it built a better solution to the problem. Okay, so I want to be very honest with you guys. I've been going through this announcement for like an hour now, and I keep just running into the same thing. Like it's fine, it's good. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's not, but this is the 5th model in like 6 months where they're just telling us it's the next big thing. There's like 5.2, that was the state of the art for professional work in December. I don't know, like 5.3 Codex was the state of the art for coding, 5.4 Absorb Codex, state of the art again. Now we've got a new class of intelligence. And it's like at some point, the words just stop meaning anything. So here's the thing, and I want to be very fair, like the models, they are actually getting better. Obviously, as I showed you the benchmarks, so don't get me wrong, like what I could build today versus what I could build a year ago, obviously it's a completely different thing. That's real, that's not hype, but that progress is happening on a curve that's just getting smaller each time, and they're pricing it like it's getting bigger each time. And that's the part that kind of bothers me. And if you actually read the system card, which I did because I'm that guy, there's some stuff in there that they're definitely not putting in the announcement. So like UK AI SI, it tested the cybersecurity safeguards and it broke them in 6 hours with a universal jailbreak. Like every malicious query, it worked every time. And OpenAI, they tried to just like patch it, and the patch had a config issue, and you know, UK AI SI couldn't even verify the fix before launch. And that's their own document. So they released the model anyways. That's where we're at with things. You know, it's up to you to weigh like if that is a big difference or not for you, but anyways. There's also this thing where Apollo tested the model and it just lied about completing an impossible coding task in 29% of the time. So 5.4, it was 7%. So you know, make of that what you will. So my actual theory on why this shipped just right now, I don't think 5.5 was ready. I think Opus 4.7 had dropped a week ago and just took the lead on every benchmark that truly matters, and OpenAI couldn't really let that sit. In 7 weeks, it's not how long it actually takes to train a frontier model. So this was ready maybe for a while, and they just needed to counter. And by the way, Anthropic has Mythos sitting in a vault right now. You know, a model that they say is too dangerous to release, but again, probably maybe just like marketing slop, who knows. So whatever 5.5 is, it's already playing catch up to a version of Claude that most of us like can't even use. So what that means for you though is probably less than you think. If your stack is working, keep your stack. If you're on 5.4 and everything's fine, you're fine. I see people were reviewing their entire infrastructure every time a model drops, and maybe our YouTube videos have part to blame for that, but in any case, I try to give you guys the truth and like what actually matters on all this stuff. But anyways, the models, they're kind of all converging and they're all pretty good at pretty much everything. And the edge isn't like picking the right one anymore. It's honestly like the edge is just in building something useful, monetizing the stuff. picking whichever one you pick. Like, that's the boring truth. So my read is, don't chase this one. Just try it out if you're curious. Run your own test, but don't rebuild anything. But that's what I got out of this. Let me know what you guys have to say in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check out my free school community if you're looking to join something where everybody's sharing answers. We have a bunch of business owners, people trying to grow their own business, start their own AI business, so much more. We have all these different videos that we have curated beyond what we post on our YouTube channel. So make sure to go check that out if you are interested on taking a more hands-on approach and joining a solid community. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.